Hi everyone, my name is Mark Deere, and in today's video I'm going to answer a question that somebody put in the comments when I said what did you want to hear a video about. And the question was from the user, their name is Art4Fun, and they said what are some of the biggest issues in the industries you've worked in, and how do you deal with those issues in a healthy way or whatever. Something like that. You can go look at the video and see the comment, but that was pretty much what the comment was. And it was really interesting to me. I don't usually try to think too much about issues, but I guess that's how you get industries and how you get in and out of industries. I've talked on a couple of other videos about like toxic people, and I'd say that's probably the biggest issue, but that's an issue anywhere you go. It doesn't really matter what the profession is. How to deal with toxic people and figuring out a way to do it healthily is probably the biggest challenge in every industry I've been in. Games, there was definitely a lot of toxicity and had to kind of try and avoid it. Maybe stuff wasn't quite as bad for me, but maybe I got lucky, or maybe because I'm a man, I don't know. And in education, 100% toxicity. I think a lot of people just have nothing better to do with their lives than be toxic, negative, gossiping, that sort of stuff is just rife in education. It's brutal, like the politics in general. And it's terrible. When you get caught in the vortex of it too, it's just so brutal to be a part of, especially when it's like, I have tried to avoid politics, avoid conflict, avoid toxicity my whole life. I don't want to be a part of that stuff. Sorry, I'm getting mozzie bitten. It also makes me restless thinking about toxic people. The best solution is get them the hell out of your life. If you have toxic people in your personal life, cut them off. Like just block their number or whatever. Don't talk to them anymore. And I'm pretty lucky. I don't have anyone too toxic in my life. Great. At work, it's a whole other story, but you just try to avoid them, I guess. I mean, confronting someone, you're not going to change someone else. You can't control someone else. You can only control you. So in any industry you're in, if you got to work with people who aren't great to work with, you just figure out a way to make it work. And you can try and build a bridge, but some people, they don't want you to build a bridge. They want drama. I had a video where I talked about drama. But yeah, I'd say that's probably the biggest issue. I think in creative industries, one of the bigger issues is that a lot of people don't get the same benefits that you get in essential industries. I remember during COVID, I had a lot of friends who, the government was giving people money, and my friends were freelancers, and they didn't give money to freelancers. You had to be an employee or an employer, and if you're an employer, then they paid you to pay your employees during COVID. And if you're an employee, then you would get paid, like if your business shut down because of COVID. This is when they were doing the lockdowns in Australia. And I had friends who had businesses, like parents at school and other things, and their household income was like 300,000 Australian dollars a year. And they still got the, whatever it was called, like the COVID payments, because they had a business, which had an employee or whatever, they got money because they had a business. So they had their household income was so high, and they still got extra money from the government. And then I had a lot of friends from the film industry where they were just freelancers, so they would go from job to job. But right now they didn't have an employer, or they only were hired on contracts. They didn't have a business, they were a sole trader, and they didn't get the money. So the people, their household income might have been $50,000 Australian a year, or $60,000 Australian a year, and they got nothing. And a lot of them couldn't pay rent, they had to move in their parents. It was really bleak. And so that's an issue, I think, in the industry where, I don't know if it's because they're not unionised, or I don't know if it's just because you're being creativity and the government just don't take it seriously. I don't know what it is, but I do not think it was okay that someone earning $350,000 a year household income could be getting a payment of whatever it was, $20,000 a year it was only for a month or two. I don't think it was for a long time. All the lockdowns were happening, but why are those people getting more money from the government? It wasn't means tested. And so I think an issue in the creative industries is lack of regulation, lack of standardization. Like as a teacher, I pretty much get the same money wherever I go, like give or take. If you're a doctor, it's the same money give or take. As you're a specialist, the tiers go up. There's like a hierarchy, same as lawyers, it's like whatever there is. I don't know, you do your articles or whatever, and you be a clerk, and you be a, associate or solicitor or whatever, and then you're eventually a barrister, and it goes all the way up to partner, I don't know. But there's a hierarchy, right? And so at each tier you're going to get more money. But yeah, film doesn't work like that. Like you could be earning tons of money off no experience, no degree, and you could be earning $1 million a year. You could be someone who's worked 30 years as a cameraman and freelance and get paid $50 an hour. Like so there's so much disparity because there's no standards. Like what are you willing to work for? And that's what I found when I was freelancing. Like it was a real race to the bottom. Like we got out when we stopped doing it. It worked out pretty well because I'd been like there was less money for jobs as it became more ubiquitous. I shudder now to think how people do corporate videos for a job now. because it was just a race to the bottom. Like, you got someone who can buy a camera for $1,000, you know, and they can start charging money, and they're like, yeah, I'll do that for you for $100. Like, no, man, if you charge $100 for that job's worth $3,000. Like, that's making it harder for all of us. Because now when I quote $3,000, I go, haha, nah. And even though what you get for that $100 is going to be crap, the people would take the $100, you know. So I think that's an issue in the industry as well. And a healthy way to deal with that, I guess, is, I don't know, find a way to make it work for you. Don't burn yourself out. Don't work more. Know how much you're worth. Value how much you're worth. And just know that the universe will send you people who will value you, you know. That's probably the healthiest way to deal with that. Diversify. Anyway, I don't know, this is probably a bit of a bleak video, but that's the answer to the question. Like, I'd say the biggest issue in every industry is toxic people. Just try to avoid them. Don't engage. Just don't engage toxic people, because they're looking for people to latch onto and create drama with. And if you aren't a part of it, they kind of move on from you because they realize, oh, this person's not going to, you know, like, whatever, you know. And it's like, yes, thank goodness that person's moved on to somebody else, because I don't want toxic people in my life. And, you know, it's a good reason to get out of any industry. If there's too many toxic people, it's going to lead you to stress and burnout. And so, yeah, I think you want to be in your dream job, and you want to be in your dream job with your dream setup. I talked in a video earlier I made today about my friend, Coxie, legend, and he said he's never had a better group of people he worked with than in that job. And I agree. In all the years, it was just a dumb Apple reseller. We sold Apple computers and iPods and stuff. But working with those dudes, we weren't even like best mates or anything. Like, we were different from each other, but we just got along. We could all be completely honest with each other and joke around with each other, and nobody was ever offended. And it was the best place to work. We all got along. Everyone respected each other. Everyone got in and worked together. And I think all of us miss that time. It was only a short period of time, about 8 months, but it was honestly, professionally, one of the best times in my life, because we had a manager who cared about us, and the four of us, we were so tight. We all helped each other, and there was zero toxicity, and it was just bliss. It was bliss, you know. And I mean, Candice and I moved from Melbourne to get married, and that was when I left, and then soon after they all kind of moved on to other jobs. But because it wasn't a high-paying job or anything, but God, working with good people is just the best, you know. I think so talking about industries and healthy things, like, yeah, no matter how old you are, I think if you can work in a job you like, you know, a job you want to go to every day, it feels less like work the more you like it. But it might be the thing you love doing the most, but if you're working with toxic people, you're going to be stressed. So you need that combination of like working with good people, working on something you love. You know, that's it. That's perfect. Like, professionally, there's nothing more you could ask for. And yeah, I feel like that's what I've been missing these last couple of years. I really haven't had great people working with me. And I did have that in my last job in Brisbane, the school I was in there. My team in the arts were just awesome. I love those guys so much. And all of them have moved on now too. But, oh, that was just the best. So, yeah, I don't know. When things are over, they're over and you move on. But yeah, I'd say avoid toxic people and try to do the thing that means something to you. Just had a big thunder. I felt a drip of rain. I might be going to get rained on, but that'll break the heat. I'm so sweaty. Great seeing you today, everyone. Thank you so much for the question. Art for fun. And yeah, anyone else who has questions, go back to that video and put one down, or just anything you want to know, just ask in the comments and I'll try and answer for you. I hope that answered the question. I don't know. I could talk about issues with specific work and other things. There's other things that are issues, but to be honest, for me, it's just like, do I want to go every day? And if the answer is yes, it's good. And the answer was always yes in Brisbane, but never so much here, because it's the people you work with, you know. I love my students though, so they will make me want to go every day. And in film stuff, I loved all the people I work with in film. Some of the clients are a bit average, but you just didn't work with them again. That was the thing. The answer is just like, it's a privilege to be in my life if you want to be. So, you know, if you don't treat me right, then you're not going to be my client anymore. You're not going to be my friend anymore. I'm not going to talk to you at work anymore. You know, like, that's the solution. The healthiest way. I've never like said, you're crap, you're toxic. Like, never engage. Okay, that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.